But first thing first, we're going to go over where would I buy at a SPY at? Over 900% profits from the global financial crisis to where we at now, you feel me? So, the main income source come in from the shakes and beverages, and it has over doubled since, in less than 5 years. But they're oversold at the macro demand area. Every time it touches 200 your EMA, it does that. But also they made 2.6 billion 2021, but now they made 4.6 billion in 2025. So fundamental ratios are important because it lets you see in a simpler and a faster way and an easier way of understanding, like, is the company financials really under control? Their revenue is going bonkers, their profits is going bonkers as well. Cash flow, their operating cash flow from their main source of revenue is increasing. What is CPRT? Is an online car auction website. Great free cash flow, steady increase, return on equity is profitable. What's good, YouTube? Disciplined Diamond Hands back with another video. Today, y'all are going to learn a lot. What are y'all going to learn about? Y'all are going to learn a lot about charts, earnings, revenue, fundamental ratios, and current events. Today, I'm going over 2 stocks that I'm looking at to buy. I'm waiting a little patiently, seeing how far the market gonna pull back. But first thing first, I must say this: I'm not a financial advisor at all. But I do have disciplined diamond hands, and I will teach you something that could benefit you today. First thing first, man, no crash ever made the stock market unprofitable. Only emotional sellers and buyers do. Let's check out the past history of the stock market, man. Since the past history of the inception of the SPX index back in the late 1800s, low of $2.73. Despite all of these crashes, the dot-com crash, global financial crash, oil prices, trade tension, pandemic, retarded inflation, president inauguration, the market still prevailed and returned profits. You feel me? Over 900% profits from the global financial crisis to where we at now. You feel me? So look, in a decade, you could have almost 1,000% returned your own money. Let's check it out real quick. You're 932%. In just in a little under, 16 years, not 10. But first thing first, we're going to go over where would I buy the SPY at. I ain't gonna lie, I won't be buying the SPY. I'm gonna be buying SPXL. Why? Because it's a leveraged ETF that moves 2 to 3 times as fast as SPY. So if we look at it on the daily time frame, check this out. Every time SPXXL pull back to the 50-day EMA, it tends to bounce in a strong uptrend. It's there right now. I had added a little bit right here at this one day. I'm waiting for it to pull back here. I'm gonna add even more, and then once it get down here in this range, I'm gonna just throw a bag at it because, like I just said, the stock market always return, and once it get down here and it starts to return, that's already just a 50% return right there. Or if I add here, that's 18%. But we also know the stock market always make new highs. So as it continuously grow and make new highs, we already see where it could go potentially. First thing first, man, I'm looking at CPRT. Why am I looking at CPRT? Well, let me teach y'all everything I know so far. First thing first, my 3 indicators that I am using is the RSI. You can click that. And then I'm using 2 EMAs, moving average exponential, click that. These will be the settings for your EMAs, screenshot and pause. And then this will be for your 50 EMA. You gotta change the length. If not, the length might be on 14, something like that. Then for the RSI, you want this one on 14. This for your RSI, screenshot and pause. And we're gonna get into it. So why I like Copart? Well, first thing first, once I was looking at their charts, I like their charts first off. But charts is just not enough, as you can tell on this list. And even this not enough. Further than this, we need to understand their leadership. What kind of leadership team do they have? And their future revenue and stuff, things like that. What are they doing for the future? Stuff like that. But first thing first, what I like about them technical wise is how they're holding up that 200 EMA on a weekly time frame. The higher time frame, the stronger it is. Usually I use the weekly or monthly for long-term investments. Why? Because the higher the time frame, the more data you'll have to hold a trade. But yeah, let's start looking at this 200 EMA, this green line right here. The past couple times it went down to the 200 EMA. I think y'all see what it do, but it's alright. I'm finna exaggerate what it do. I ain't gonna lie. Let's see. Alright, I'm gonna exaggerate what it do. Every time I get to the 200 EMA, and we're gonna go back until it breaks it. Probably like what, right here in this area, then bounce on the 200 EMA, and that was back during the global financial crisis. So the only reason that CPRT wouldn't hold the 200 EMA is in another, maybe potentially financial crisis. But also what I like about CPRT is that it's reaching an oversold level, as we can tell. Every time it touches 200 EMA, it does that. But also every time it reaches the 200 EMA, you know, boom, correlation there to the RSI is reaching that 30 level. And the RSI is there again. So over the past decade, the chart trend has been CPRT is going to bounce. Why? Because CPRT has been doing so great as a business and as a company. How? Well, their net margin is rising, increasing fast for one. Also, their revenue is increasing as well. They made, what, $2.6 billion in 2021, but now they made $4.6 billion in 2025. So they almost doubled their revenue in under 5 years. They potentially might do that. Yeah, we're gonna check that out. But if we click on more financials and we hit annual, we can check out more things and it gets more in depth of what they're doing. Let's check out their revenue though. What is CPRT? CPRT is an online car auction website, but they do a lot more than just that. This everything that they do. You know, online auction vehicle remarketing services, and yeah, you can pause it and read, but they do a lot. But these are their revenues over the past years. You know what I'm saying? But they've been going crazy. Back in 2014, 200 mil, 900 mil, 1 bill, and now they're at 3.9 bill. This is how their revenue is broken down by country. A lot of U.S. sales, you already know we're gonna need U.S. companies due to the tariffs. The tariffs may affect them, so that's why they're at this demand area right now. All right, next thing we have is the fundamental ratios. Fundamental ratios are important because it lets you see in a simpler, in a faster way, in an easier way of understanding, like, is the company financials really under control? For every financial ratio on here, I'm gonna put up the description, but for net margin, it's great. They blowing it out the water, man. We also should compare it up to their sector, but as you can tell, we only have one retail trade sector, and then we got health technology sector. So we can't really compare their ratios to any of these because they're in different sectors, and different sectors have different guidelines, you understand? But yeah, great, no debt, almost great free cash flow is steady increasing and bringing in more and more profits. Return on equity is profitable. Current ratio is very great because they have no debt, you know? So what a great company financial wise. They're bringing in more profits. They have low debt. Let's continue to look at that balance sheet. Look at the debt, the total liabilities. Cash flow, the operating cash flow from their main source of revenue is increasing. That's where their operating cash flow come from. The main sources of revenue steadily increasing on a year-to-year basis. So that's why I like Copart. We got some current events for Copart that I'm going to go over. I like to use FinViz just because you can see this many news articles on one screen, and it's like what, over 20. But this is the juicy news that caused the news to try to fearmonger you. All right, check out this news. This news was back from September 5th, like a little over a month ago, when they reported earnings. The news tried to fearmonger more people into selling. That's what they was like. It's not bad numbers, but the sales grew slower than they did in 2024. But it's still a strong quarter, and it's still at a demand area. And the news tried to fearmonger people into selling, but it just put it at a good buying opportunity. Honestly, low key, I am watching. I got alerts on them. I ain't gonna lie, I'm watching for them to come down a little more. Because y'all know my rule is if I can lose more than 30%, I don't want it. So 30%, if I was to get in it right here, This would be a 30% loss, which is cool. I don't see it getting down here. So yeah. Next is BRR. BRR is a health technology company. What does BRR do? Well, BRR is a holding company which engage in the provision for ready-to-drink protein shakes, RTD beverages, powders, and nutrition bars. And the food sector as a whole has been taking a hit, and health technology sector has been taking a hit. But check out their revenue and let's check out their charts and see why I like them. First thing first, I like them because they're oversold on a weekly time frame. They never have been oversold on a weekly time frame, but when some things are oversold on a weekly and a monthly, it do go crazy. Because the last time Clorox was oversold on a monthly, that was a long time ago. It was in 1975. They went from 68 cents to 239. But we also got Hormel Foods on here. I'm checking out too. I'm waiting. It's getting to that oversold area, but now I'm just waiting for support to find it. You feel me? But back to BRR. Let's check out their revenue. Their revenue is going bonkers. Their profits is going bonkers as well. Back in 2020, they was bringing in 988 million. Now they're bringing in 2 billion. Their net margin is 12%. It used to be 2%. But I like this demand area right here. Is resistance that should turn into a support since RSI is so low. Let's check out their fundamentals. That is a little crazy. Operating cash flow is increasing. Let's check out more financials. Let's check out their earnings and see what they got going on. Okay, first thing first, they're expecting to increase their earnings and their revenue. They have started a trend of consistently beating their earnings. So as they become more profitable as a business, it's realistic that they can reach their goals because as you can tell, they have been consistently keeping up with performing and reaching their goals. Their revenue is only projected to continuously increase and grow as a company. That's great as well. Let's check out their revenue. Well, BRBR revenue. So this is how their revenue is breaking down from the shakes and other beverages, their powders, other than nutrition bars. Their main income source come in from the shakes and beverages, and it has over doubled since in less than 5 years. And by the country, their revenue is broken down as well. United States, international, things like that. So they're very profitable, and their profits are only increasing, but they're oversold at the macro demand area. And that's a good sign. Let's check out their fundamental ratios. What is BRR talking about? I ain't gonna lie, their debt is high. The net margin is barely scraping 10%. Cool. Dividend yield, we don't need that. Cool. Free cash flow it's a little low, but it's going to continuously be profitable and it could continue to grow. So free cash flow will continue to grow. Return on equity is non-existent. Current ratio is great. Let's check out FinViz and let's see what they talking about. I like FinViz, but it's not my go-to. But it's fine. My go-to for news, I'd say I use Wall Street Journal and then Yahoo Finance and then FinViz. I love FinViz too, just because it gives you a lot of details, everything you need to know. Like the fundamental ratios we went over is basically on here. But we can check out the upgrades, what analysts thinks about them. Then we can check out their the most harmful news and what we expect for them to do as a company. But I appreciate y'all for checking out this video and tapping in. I got more video coming. I'm only giving out more knowledge and game. And keep following, and I'm gonna keep dropping. Appreciate y'all a lot, man.